Diary of a Mid-30s Girlie.
Starts right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Diary of a Mid-30s Girlie. I am your host, if you don't know me, Danielle, self-proclaimed queen of the Mid-30s Girlies. And I am excited for today's episode. Like the title of this video clearly states, I am, of course, going to go over when and how I think those of us with ADHD should journal, because it's very different, in my opinion. But before that, I have a thesis statement for this episode. Journaling is an Advil that you keep trying to take like a daily vitamin. Let's get into it. Journaling is one of those things that is touted by like all the productivity greats. Am I right? And for good reason. More on that in a second. That being said, because it's one of those things that has been repeated for so long, I think it's also been diluted. Journaling has become more of a burden than an actual useful tool. Now, what do I mean by this? When I decided a long time ago that I wanted to start journaling consistently, it was because I was seeing it in all the like morning routines of like that girl and like even like guy productivity gurus and stuff, right? Like everyone would be like, oh, like I wake up, I have my lemon water and I do yoga and I meditate and I journal, right? And so because I wanted to, on some level, be like these people who espoused journaling, I started doing it. I'd sit down, I'd set up my pens and my paper, and then nothing. And then nothing. Not every single time. Like sometimes I clearly had things going on in my life that I just needed to write about and vent about and all that stuff. Often I didn't. So I would just be staring at a blank page like, well, I guess I'll talk about what I did yesterday. There was nothing new or of note or necessarily worth remembering or analyzing or breaking down. But yeah, since I'm supposed to be journaling because that's what productive people do, I guess I'll just write about what happened yesterday. So then I do that. And obviously because I got the inspo for this habit from people who said, by the way, 3 pages is the magic number, just no matter what, just the stream of consciousness, 3 pages. Once I finish recounting my very average day from the day before, I'm looking down, it's like, all right, 2.5 pages to go. Ooh, stream of, Do you get where I'm going with this though? Here I was, first thing in the morning, I will not be more energized, disciplined. I will not have more willpower and focus for the rest of the day. And I'm sitting here wasting my precious energy trying to grind out and drum up something for what is at this point in my life a pointless, useless exercise. Now, make no mistake, I will very definitely get into when and where I think journaling is good. And by the way, obviously, if you're listening to this and you're like, Danielle, off, like, I love journaling, it is an essential part of my mental health, then by all means, click off. This video is not for you. So there, little disclaimer. But you get what I'm saying? At these moments, I wasn't journaling because I needed journaling. I was journaling to keep up a streak because I was told by some productivity YouTuber who read it in Tim Ferriss's book, who, by the way, got it from when he read The Artist's Way, right? I didn't see journaling as like a tool in a productive person's life, but rather like the key to my productivity. I would like to reiterate, I do not think that all journaling ever is a stupid, pointless exercise. Obviously, I don't. It is actually super helpful. And I'm sure that there is science behind this. Do I have the patience to go looking for that science right now? So source right now, trust me, bro. Okay. That's going to be happening a lot on this podcast. But honestly, I'm sure you've heard it elsewhere too. Journaling can be something that is extremely useful. And for me, probably the way that I use it the most is to manage tricky, complicated emotions when they come up and to like regulate myself around those emotions. So again, to jump back onto the analogy that I was just saying, the whole like Advil versus like daily vitamin though, those emotions and difficult situations in life and thoughts that can send me into a spiral, they don't hit me at like 7 a.m. sharp every morning when I'm sitting down at my desk. I mean, they might. I mean, for you, let's say you've got this like horrible commute and just like every day you need to vent about how awful so you can mentally prepare yourself for how bad it's going to be. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. Like suddenly you're feeling really insecure about something. Suddenly you're feeling really unsure about something. Someone said something really off to you and it was an offhand comment, but somehow it hits really deep. These are the moments where I'm like, okay, I need to deal with this. I need to process this, right? That is when it is the most useful for me to journal, right? If I'm waiting until 7 a.m. every morning or, whatever arbitrary time you've chosen to journal as part of your like can't break the streak or whatever, then it's like the information is old. It's a lot less like useful. Besides that, if there is one thing I am learning, like, okay, there's a ton of productivity advice out there, but if I could take the most important bits of like productivity advice I've heard over the years and distill it all down into like the singular most important kernel that kind of runs through all of them, it would be this: do less, bitch, Okay, amendment. You know how there's like that thing with like minimalism, like less but better? I would say that actually also applies to like the actions that you take. I used to be the victim of thinking that I needed to be going 100 million miles an hour at all times to squeeze in more and more and more with less and less time. But I think I was bullshitting myself, to be honest. When I had that crazy morning routine that included journal, meditate, this, that, obviously these are all helpful things, but I was actually like deluding myself into thinking that I was becoming a productive person when actually I was just chasing dopamine in disguise. It's hilarious. But after my 3-hour morning routine was fucking over, I'd be like exhausted rather than energized. And I would feel like the day was halfway over. It would be like 11 o'clock already. I'd be like, damn, like I haven't even started on anything that is actually going to like move the needle. I talked about this in last week's episode, but if you haven't seen it, my morning routine now has become so deliciously simple. Literally wake up, go to the bathroom, go to the kitchen, make my coffee. This is a new thing that I'm trying to do, but sometimes while my coffee is brewing, I will go to the front door, open it, and try to like get some natural sunlight into my eyes for like 2 to 3 minutes while my coffee's doing its thing. I take that shit upstairs, I get to my desk, and I start working on this channel. And like meaningful work. Not like redoing my channel banner, but like writing my script, editing the video that I shot yesterday. Like the shit that moves the needle. It's about doing fewer things, but doing the right things. And for me, journaling simply for the sake of checking off a box didn't actually contribute to my goals or even my mental health. Now again, I already said this and hopefully those people clicked off this video already, but like if you're like, no, journaling in the morning is essential to me feeling okay for the rest of the day, then by golly, please do that. Don't listen to me. Tell me to off. Anyway, yeah. It's about doing less. Again, I'm going to talk about this in an upcoming episode, but it's not a new concept. Tim Ferriss calls this the minimum effective dose or whatever, which love that. Greg McKeown, I hope I'm saying that right, has a book called Essentialism, Do the Essential Things, I refer to it personally as leverageism, and I think that that's like a fun little way to be like, which lever is going to do the most so that I can do the least. Now, I know that it seems like I just all over journaling and that I don't like it. That is incorrect. That being said, I do think there are ways that people with ADHD should journal that are a little different from the traditional journaling pen and paper. I know that a lot of people tout the benefits of like handwriting something out. And I agree too. Let's say you're like examining your life goals and like rewriting your North Star and stuff. Yeah, by all means, I am all for that. That being said, when it comes to journaling, I am not for that. And let me tell you why. Just like when I'm really on a roll and I really can get going, I can talk a lot faster probably than your average person talks. It's because this place, as you know, chaotic, nonstop, My mouth can barely keep up with my brain. What do you think my hand can do? It cannot. My brain will be over here, hand trying really hard, even if I'm writing like chicken scratch, cannot keep up. And that is why I am pro voice notes journaling. Maybe other people do this. This could be a thing, but I promise you I've never heard about it from anyone else. I journal in my voice notes. I just don't know instinctively how to write without like censoring myself in some way. But I could just talk bullshit all day long into my cell phone. Like, also, my like day-to-day purse is like very little because I don't like to really carry things. So it's like not like my journal could fit in there anyway. But even when I am using my huge day bag for like whatever, I have this like irrational fear that if my journal were in there, that would be the day that like I got robbed. And then, I just imagine that my assailant is like using my credit cards and like laughing at my inner thoughts about and of course my journal like says this journal belongs to Danielle Colada on the front. So like, you get what I'm saying? The other thing is, I kind of touched on this earlier, but these overwhelming difficult emotions that I tend to need to journal, you can't predict when they're going to come on. I use this app that creates like lock screen widgets, and it can be like almost anything that you have a shortcut for. So so my phone doesn't even have to be unlocked. I just click the little widget and it like computes for a second, and then it automatically starts recording a voice memo. It's fucking frictionless. I never don't have my phone on me. It's just so much easier, Oh, also, there is just something about talking it out that I swear just hits different than trying to write it out. I've been dealing with a weird eye twitch in this left eye for weeks now. And I am already like a very health anxious person. And whenever I'm afraid that something is wrong with me, there are times when I have to kind of like try to get comfort from my husband, but I feel really bad for him because he lives with me and deals with it all the time. So instead, I call one of my best girlfriends who is also a hypochondriac with ADHD. So she just like gets me, and we often call each other to be like, I have this weird pain in my side. Like, we're probably, what's that word when you're like, and we're probably enabling each other's like bad habits with this, but whatever. It's a way that we cope. So the other day I tried to call her, like, my eye won't stop twitching. My world is spiraling. I think I have, the worst imaginable, whatever. She doesn't answer. And that's when I'm like, you know what? It wouldn't really have mattered what she said to me. I think I just need to talk this out, like right now. So I hit the little thing on my phone, immediately start recording a voice memo, and just for a solid 2 or 3 minutes, like, I am having so much health anxiety. Like, my eye will not stop twitching. It has been going on for weeks. I haven't made an appointment with the doctor. I don't know why. It just makes me think about all the other things that I'm worried about, blah, 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 blah. And I go on and on and on for like a solid 3 minutes. And at the end of it, not only did I genuinely just feel better having vented, I also talked myself through like why this doesn't mean that I am having like a major health crisis. I'm pretty sure it just means I'm deficient in like a mineral or something. But another way that I use this is not just to help me like calm anxieties. Like sometimes something will happen to me and I'll be voice journaling to like help myself regulate it or whatever. And not only does it help me feel better, but I realize, you know what, this is actually really insightful. This is very helpful. This is something I could put in a podcast episode that would help somebody else. And I literally did this earlier today. I record the voice note on my phone, but then I had my iPad, I had the notes open, and I hit the little microphone button, the little dictate feature or whatever. And I literally I set my phone next to the iPad, and now my iPad is like hearing my voice recording and turning it all into text. So helpful. I actually said this in like one of my comments the other day. Like, this is not even related to journaling anymore, but I just think this is a helpful tip. Let's say you have to write an essay because you're in college or something, I don't know, or a report for your job. I don't know, a chapter for the novel that you're trying to write, but you're just like stuck, or you're tired of sitting at your fucking desk. Like, go for a walk. Turn the dictate feature on and just walk and go, write it with your voice. And then because it goes to text, you can always like edit it later. It's so good. It's so useful. It's useful for a lot of things. I write a lot of scripts for videos and podcast episodes just like that. And it's the best. Okay. The other thing, when you journal like the voice notes, it doesn't have to be some formal like Dear Diary thing. Sometimes it's just like I brain dump into a voice note. And it's just, again, I talked about how my hand, when I brain dump by hand, my hand cannot keep up with my brain. Absolutely not. When I'm speaking it out in the voice notes, absolutely. And then I might repeat myself a time or two, but you can catch that once you get it dictated and transfer over to text. And so, yeah, this has been, God, my eye twitches back. See, this would be a really useful time to journal about my health anxiety. Not really, because I'm not feeling that anxious actually. But yeah, I just love it. I love it. Journaling as a morning ritual that I have to do. Useless, pointless. Voice journaling when I need to capture my popcorn thoughts, sort through, talk through a decision that I have to make, deal with my negative emotions, examine and poke holes in my cognitive distortions. If I'm sitting there, I want to scroll TikTok or I start playing solitaire again and I have the realization, oh shit, I'm procrastinating. Then I can whip it out and be like, what am I procrastinating about? Just talk. It's so easy. It's so helpful. It's so helpful. I feel like I actually had a lot more written for this episode, but I'm afraid I accidentally deleted one of the toggles. I guess we'll never know what was in that. Journaling used to be something that I did because, like I said, all the top productivity gurus said it was the best. And because I used to not trust myself, I felt, well, like, look at them, look at their lives and look at mine. So clearly they're doing something right. Listen, we are all so unique. And I bet you there are plenty of successful entrepreneurs, artists who don't journal, or even if they journal, it's in their own unique way. They sketch journal, they paint in a way that expresses their feelings. For me, like voice notes, I don't know how it could get much better than that as far as journaling. But, you know, if you're just doing it to do it because you think it's what you ought to do, stop shooting all over yourself, right? If you have made it this far in the episode, I would like to ask you a question because I feel like only the OGs make it all the way to the end of the episodes. But current like wisdom with regards to people that are trying to like make it on social media or whatever is that you need to be like everywhere, you know, make short form content because then you can take the same video, post it to TikTok, YouTube, Instagram Reels. I don't know what it is. Something about that bothers me so much. I feel like out for 2024 is being all over every platform with the same shit, and in for 2024 is posting to YouTube like it's 2014 Tumblr. You know what I mean? Please let me know what you think about that. It is time for me to wrap this up, so I will get going. But as you know, I respond to every single comment. I love you guys. Seriously, we're such a small community so far, but I feel like we're like this. I will see you next week. But if you want to see community posts, maybe I'll talk, you'll see me sooner than that. I don't know. I love you guys.